Hello, hello, hello. Yes.
I get the
We're live. So, have a wonderful guest today. Come in, share. We're going to be talking about emotional healing on today. If you know someone else that needs it, invite them to come and join us.
Come on, y'all. Let's worship a
Hello,
little
hello,
bit.
hello, hello. Come on and join us. We're about to talk about deliverance on tonight. I hope you are excited about um, what's going to be going forth. Hello, hello. Come join us. I'm glad that you're on tonight. Share and if you have any questions throughout this broadcast, make sure that you post them in the comments. And if you have not been able to catch any of the previous broadcasts, I encourage you to go to my page and pull up the study of the emotional healing study. So emotional healing. We are now in chapter 3, but chapter 2 had several parts that we had to maneuver through. But now we're moving on. Well, trying to share this to my page, but somehow I can't figure out how to do that. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you all for joining. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Is he making you greater? He's making me greater. Without him, I would fail. Nobody greater than God. So how has your day been? I pray that it was a blessed day. It was beautiful outside. It was chilly. Yes. Yes, it was real pretty. Got my hair done. Yes.
Yeah, you did. Even though tomorrow's
Yeah, mine too, but I'm okay. My hair looks
Oh,
good.
you know what? Well, now I feel bad. Okay, hey, let me get
All right. So we are getting ready to get started with our emotional healing series. And thank you to all of those that are sharing. I appreciate it because somebody needs it. Somebody is looking for it and don't know where to get it. And we are helpers one to another. Amen. All right. I'm going to turn this music down so we can go ahead and get started. All right. So sometimes I don't think. Again, I'm using the book, Lord, I Want to Be Whole. This is by Stormy or Martian. It does look a little beat up, right? Because I've had it for years. So, um, Lord, I want to be whole. And this is 7 steps. 7 steps to emotional healing. So we walked through steps 1 and 2, and now we're on step 3. We're talking about deliverance tonight. And so I have a guest with me on tonight. Those of you that don't know her, this is Elder Serena Holloway. She is, her ministry is Deliverance. So we try to get her on Wednesday. We had some issues with Facebook. So now we're using a different platform. And I still had to come over here. But you do what you do to make it work. So here we are making it work and talking about deliverance. Now I'm just going to read a little bit. I'm going to start with Stormy, some of the things that she's saying, and then we're just going to kind of go deeper into deliverance. Tonight we're going to focus more on the difference in oppression and possession.
Well, that's good.
Being oppressed or possessed. And we're talking about spirits, or, you know, what does it mean? Because different people have different understandings of those words. So deliverance, what is it? So she goes on to talk about, she says, when Marianne told me I needed deliverance that day in the counseling office, her words resounded in my head. Immediately, I thought of red-eyed demons, green vomit, and whirlwinds. Then she asked herself, am I possessed? I wondered. So when I questioned Marianne about this, she explained, I'm talking about oppression and not possession. There are spirits that attach themselves to you. They can come into anyone's life through the work of the devil, who has been allowed influence and access through our own sin. So I want to ask you on tonight, do you know the difference between being oppressed and possessed? Because, you know, if we really dig into it, I don't want to go too far into this because we can get into areas that people may not really know much about, and then it'll take me from a way where I'm trying to stay. So, but when you are saved, the devil can't touch your spirit. He can't touch your spirit, but he can oppress you. Possession is having complete control of everything you do, your mind, your body, your spirit, like everything. That you have no control over your emotions, your actions, your everything. So, but when you are oppressed, that means the enemy, he has you in a position of being oppressed, but he hasn't possessed your entire body. But it is a stronghold. And so she goes on and she talks about, because it has nothing to do with being demon possessed or being destined for hell, but it has to do with being rid of residual fragments of hell from your past. Residue from the past can manipulate us. Anytime we have residue left from things that we thought we were delivered from, or negative things in our past, but there's still some residue on us, there's some dust on us, it has the ability to manipulate us. But deliverance will set us free of the manipulation of the residue. That was a lot. It's a mouthful.
Right.
But so you have to get to a point where, am I ready to be delivered? You have to be ready. Can't nobody put you in a place of being delivered. You have to say, I'm ready. I may be scared of what my deliverance is going to look like. I may be scared of what's going to happen after the process of going through this deliverance, but I'm ready for change. I'm ready to be delivered, and I'm delivered, and I'm ready. I'm not going to allow fear or torment to keep me in a place of bondage anymore. I'm ready to move forward. So, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I was gonna touch on and it's weird how last week we were talking about
Fasting.
fasting and prayer because one of the studies that I did was was oppression. And you're right, but oppression goes a little deeper when you are Christians because it deals with your mind, your body, and your spirit. And it also deals with mental and physical as well. And we say, I thank God. And we say we bind up depression and oppression because you got to understand that depression is, of course, of the mind, but oppression deals with the body. It deals with mental and physical elements, more so mental. And you just say they're strongholds.
Yes, they are strongholds. All right. And so you are body, soul, and spirit. So when we look at ourselves, we have to recognize that we're body, we're soul, and we're spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Your spirit is the very core of your being, and your body is the outer layer. It's the outer layer. So in between your body and your spirit is what? Your soul. It's laying in the middle. So your soul is the very core of who you are. Your mind is what you think, your emotions, what you feel, and your will, what you decide to do. Satan can oppress your mind and emotions, influence your will, and attack your body. But if you've been born again, he can't touch your spirit.
That's right.
And I thank God that I have I thank God that there's some type of safety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we mess up and we make decisions that put us in a bad place, because sin will always take you further than you ever really wanted to go. Sin will take you farther because you'll say, well, I'm just going to do this for now. Or maybe you're in the middle of a trial and you feel like, well, I just got to step back for a moment because, I just got to get myself together. And I feel like if I result back to some of the things that I used to do, it'll just bring me peace, even if that peace is just for a moment.
Right.
I just got to do that, not even recognizing that you're opening up portals to allow the enemy to come and grab hold. And before you know, because I know that I can sit here now and think about some times where I found myself in a place and I thought, how did I get here? When I started down this road, I mean, I knew I was sinning, but when I started down this road, this is not the place that I expected myself to land.
I don't think any of us expect ourselves to go into some areas that we just never thought. And if I could just name one thing, like stalking. You know, when you girlfriend, there are people who wind up stalking, following the boyfriend or the girlfriend. But when you're married, you don't think that you have to do that. But when you find yourself stalking, being outside of the other side chick's house, and you're just like, how did I even get here? Why am I even here? What is really going on? So yes, oppression can take you into it's a stronghold because you get worried, and that's what oppression we worry, stress, anxiety, afraid of being alone, afraid of being rejected, afraid of not being loved, afraid of not being accepted. So yeah, oppression will take you into possession. You just said it. I think it's oppression will cause you to be possessed. Because every demon that is in your body is going to come alive when you lose your mental state.
Yes, it just opens up so many different portals, and we think we're ready, we think we big and we bad and we can do whatever we put our hands to, but some things you have to walk away from. So, and you have to truly give it to God. Amen. So when you're born again, your spirit is covered by the blood of Jesus. Satan can't touch your spirit because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. That's First John 4:4. So evil spirits are not in you. However, Satan can touch your soul and you can be demon oppressed. Now, as I stated before, possession is a complete domination, but oppression is a burden. It's the feeling of being heavily weighed down. It's the torment of oppression can be very real and miserable, and God wants to release your soul from any demonic oppression. So, I know I don't hear this a lot now, but I've heard people say in the past they didn't think that the devil was real. So what would you say to someone if they came to you today and said the devil's not real?
A long road. Okay, but he has to set the spirit. But because he wants to live a free life, and he doesn't like to be tied down. And this is his second. He's divorced. He's divorced and he's remarried. So now he's got some other things going on right now. And he said to me, he said, Mama, I really feel like I'm the devil. And I said, Mikey, you're not the devil. I said, you're not the devil. I said, what happens is the enemy will play with our minds to think that we're the devil because we don't want to be tied down. We don't want to feel rejected. We don't want to be mistreated. We don't want to be misguided. We don't want to be controlled. And so what happens is we find ourselves, when we're married, we find ourselves being hurt. We
Right.
find ourselves being abused. We find ourselves being physically and emotionally and verbally abused and physical abuse. And so him and his wife, they deal with lying. Neither one of them on Facebook. So they're not going to hear this. Trust me, ain't none of y'all know them. It's on my Facebook page. So they'll be talking about, oh, yeah, mama, we're talking about you on Facebook Live. But what I'm saying is, he believes that he is the devil because of all the issues and the stuff that he goes through. Mikey does stuff. And so he, it's not that he justifies it, but he feel like this is what I want to do. And I said, well, Mikey, just because you want to do bad things, it don't mean that you're the devil. It just means that that enemy got you thinking that you're the devil and that you can be healed and that you can be restored. And so you just stay in that place and say, well, but you're not the devil. Now, have you done some devilish ways? You have, and so have I. But you receive restoration and healing, and you walk in your deliverance. And I told him that after you need deliverance, you need to be delivered. Come over and lay hands on me. There's something wrong with you. That's a mind thing.
It is a mind thing,
Yes,
and
right.
that's where the enemy works. Maybe impression it may not be on the subject. So sad 4 times, and I got it. Doesn't matter if it's on the subject or not. If you
Right.
need it, like I said, if you feel like we're not there, it's part of this plan. We just haven't made it there, and depression is real.
Oh,
Yes,
what's his name, Mike?
like
Can
Christ.
I say this to you? Because I've been in that place. I've tried to commit suicide twice. Once when I was 20 years old, and the second time I think I was like 35. Because that when I was 20, I was leaving my son's father, and I felt like I couldn't live without him. So I took a bunch of pills and just was like, I'm just not gonna wake up. And then like I want to say my aunt said, "Then you slept for like 3 days. I'm still alive." Because we want to die because we don't want to deal with hardship. We want to deal with struggles and situations. And then when I was 35, 36, I was a major marriage separation, and I felt like I was so hurt because of the things that had taken place. I couldn't handle it and I couldn't deal with it. So let me say this to you. And my mom, I live with a mother that is bipolar. So I know your situation. I know the struggle. I know the depression. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she's manic depressive and she's bipolar. And she has emotional issues and she's trying to commit suicide when she was 16 years old. So I can relate to you like in this area, but I promise you, through prayer and through the right people, if you get the right group of people that are around you,
Yes,
that will pray with you and that will help you and not judge you. So many times we gotta stop saying, get over it, or you should have been done with that, or you should have been together. We need to stop saying that because we don't know how much or how strong a stronghold such as suicide is. Because that's the devil thinking that nobody loves you. The devil got you thinking that you can't live or you'll never be enough for somebody or you'll never amount to anything. Nobody's gonna miss you when you're gone. The devil is a lie. And I'm here to tell you, Mike, that you are loved. I don't even know you, but I love you. And I know what God can do
that's
for you.
right.
And I am praying for you. I'm praying for your deliverance. I'm praying for your healing and your restoration. But you know what? There's some people around you. And don't be afraid to go get some help.
Yes,
Do not be afraid to go get some help. Listen, God put doctors in this world. He gave them knowledge. He gave them wisdom. Let them find the root of your issue. And if they got to put you on medication just for a moment, do that. But let God be your ultimate healer. Let him be your ultimate healer. He delivered my mother. He delivered my oldest son. He delivered my oldest daughter. So I'm telling you, I know what God can do. I used to deal with depression. Now I just call her. I don't have to sit by myself. I don't have to sit by myself and just call. All right, look, I'm going through. I need you to pray for me because I don't know what's not happening right now. But she called me one day because I wanted to go over a bridge. You remember that? And she was like, I'm not getting off this phone until you. Oh my God, that's 3 times I tried to connect. See what I'm saying? But I was delivered on that day. Why? Because I believe she prayed for me and she helped me and she was able to help me to get past the things that I was doing mentally. So you can be delivered. You understand that. Person know that I love you.
Yes, Mike, we will. In and out it doesn't matter,
That's right.
because it's all about getting the help that you need.
Yes.
So even though you may have been in and out of mental hospitals is a temporary help, but when you come out, what are you doing? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because if you're never delivered from the spirits, because yes, depression is real. You do need help from it, but there are spirits attached to it as well. And so that's why you need deliverance from it. People think about being healed of bitterness and anger, but you also need to be healed from or delivered from depression, because it's about getting to the root of the issue. Why am I here? How did I get here? Not saying that you only pray and you do nothing else. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on my live, because for in the African American community anyway, we would rather suffer until we die than to go get help, because we grew up in the society, in the community where, one, your mama said you better not say nothing. Whatever happens in this house better
Stays
not
in the house.
go out
Yes,
the
I was
house.
raised with that.
Yes,
Yes.
what happens in the house stays in the house. You did not talk about your issues. You did not talk about your struggles. So when you get to the point now where you feel like you need help, but you've been raised with the mentality, you don't tell nobody that you're struggling. You don't tell nobody, because it could be something in the house that's causing you to go in the direction, or it could have been something that you were raised with that caused you to be in this state now. Because we all have to recognize our triggers, but you have to get to a point where you say, I'm going beyond it. I had to get to a point and say, yes, it's okay to try everything else first. If you don't want to go to medicine, let me try this, let me try this, and let me try this. But when all else fails and those things are not working, the doctors are there for a purpose.
I want to touch on something that Pastor Hunter stated. If you, and I don't know if you do, but you hear us talking, so if you do, let me know, and I can help you further after I ask you this question. If you do not have a personal relationship with the Lord, then you're going to struggle in every area mentally, because God is the only one that can heal you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Why? Because it calls us to pray. We got to put on the mind of Christ. We got to fast and pray. We're not saying that you wasn't getting help from the doctors, but if the doctors can't help you, then baby, you got to look to Jesus. He says in Psalms 121, 1 and 2, as I lift up my eyes into the hills, which cometh my help, know that my help cometh from the Lord. And you got to know that your help comes from the Lord continually. And also in Hebrews, and I believe it's 11 and 6, he says it is impossible to believe the Lord without faith. Why? Because he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And sometimes these things are only going to come to pass by fasting and praying. You have to give your all to the Lord. And the Lord knows your heart. And the Lord knows that you truly want to be delivered from depression or self-inflicting wounds or the struggles of addiction or whatever that you're dealing with in your mind. Because I feel like you're there and you want to be healed, but you got to surrender 100% all of that. You got to give everything that's in your body to the Lord. When I wanted to be delivered from depression and oppression, I had to cut some people out of my life. I had to cut some stuff out of my life. I had to stop drinking. I had to stop smoking cigarettes because, and I hate to say it this way, God wants to hear the prayers of your heart. God is a loving God. He is a merciful God, but He's also a judgmental God, and He wants us healed. If we're doing some things that we should not be doing, then He's not taking us serious. We need God to take our issues very seriously.
Amen. We do. We need him to hear us. I know I need God to hear me.
Yeah.
And so uh, some of the gateways that open us up to being demonically oppressed, not possessed, but demonically oppressed. Oppression is a feeling of being heavily weighed down, like I stated, mentally or physically. So some of those gateways that lead us to that point is being in direct disobedience to God's law, which she just touched on, nursing long time negative emotions. How many of us have been in that place where we say we're good, we've forgiven everybody but that one person? Nursing long term negative emotions. That means there's been one person in your life that you just feel like God needs to understand. I can't let that go. I can't forgive them. You're nursing a long term negative emotion because he tells us we must forgive. Occult practices, getting stuck in grief, and we know we must all grieve. He told us we have a place to grieve, but we can't stay there.
Right.
We must get ourselves to a place where we say, God, I want to come out of this. And no, we can't do it by ourselves. But without God's help, it's easy to lose your mind and be in different places. But you have to grieve, and then you have to get up, and then you have to embrace the fact that God said it was time, and then you have to move on from there. Unforgiveness.
Yes.
Blaming God for something bad that happened. We've all been there because we didn't understand why God allowed something to happen.
Yeah.
Inheritance of spiritual bondage, generational dependency. It's like a generational curse that still happens. It goes from generation to generation until somebody decides to break it. And I'm gonna let her speak on that because just a little bit, because she had to make a stand about a generational curse, and she was like, it's got to stop somewhere. So I'm gonna be the one that stops it.
Which one?
Generational curse.
No, which one?
I can't tell you which.
You just give me a hint because there's a lot. Listen, I know y'all like that girl. It's silly. There are a lot of generational curses that let me use one. Let me use verbal abuse. Let me talk about verbal abuse. My mother verbally abused me and my brother. She would have her manic episodes. She would literally sit us down on the couch and she would just talk about how unworthy we were and nobody's gonna want us and we're just not good kids and we're bad and you're this and you're that. And so when I had my oldest daughter, I found myself doing the exact same thing. I was verbally abusing her. I was putting my hands on her. Under this, I was touch her in a heartbeat. And then I had to realize that was something that I couldn't do. And I remember God speaking to me and saying, no, I tell you what, I was on the phone encouraging a young lady that was a part-time minister. This was 8 years ago. And I was on the phone encouraging a young lady, and my daughter was listening. And she hears me and she says, why is it that you can talk to the women at the church so nice, so respectful, but when I bring you something, you're cussing me out, you're dogging me out, you're judging me, you're talking bad to me, you're calling me names. And literally the conviction of the Lord spoke into my heart and said, she's right, and you can't even get mad. I literally had to go, and my daughter said, my daughter Ashley and my daughter Shakira go to lunch. And I sat them both down and I said, both of you to forgive me because there's a curse that has been placed on me. And now I'm putting it into you, and I don't want you turning it on to your children, literally. And I had to ask them for forgiveness for me not listening to them, for me not trying to understand what they were saying. And I had to break that generational curse. And it's funny because when I'm talking about that, I'm also talking about having children. My mother got pregnant at 14 years old. She had me at 15. She had just turned 15 years old. And she had me in December. Then I turned around and got pregnant at 16 and had my first son at 17. I literally, when my oldest daughter started going into some areas, I said that generational curse stops right now. And I went on and got my daughter I did. I put her on birth control pill because, like I said, this is not for you to go ahead and have sex, but this is for you not to get pregnant, but for you to finish school because you're going to be somebody. You're not going to be like your mother. You're better than your mother. So there's a couple of generational curses that I have.
Can you hear? They're saying they can't hear.
Y'all can't hear?
It's going in and out.
That must be
It could have been me.
Hold on.
When I was typing.
Hold on. I just went on and turn it up. They should be able to hear because okay. Let me know if y'all can hear me now. I might, you know what? I talk too fast too. So I use my hand. Let me stop. So let me just back up. Let me slow down because I talk fast. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, where the Northerners, where we just be like, I'm just saying. But that's why I asked her, and I wasn't being funny when I asked her which one, because like I said, God will give you someone that will help you with your deliverance. I had to be delivered from, I thought I forgave someone and realized that I didn't. I had to be delivered from that. Amen. So you got to be able to understand there's a couple of things that has happened in our childhood that will go on into our middle age years, into our older age years. And we don't realize we have to go all the way back to our younger years and look at the root of that problem. In order to break generational curses, you got to go back to the foundation. You got to go back to the root of that thing. What was the foundation? My childhood. What was the root? The abuse. So I had to go all the way back to those things and be delivered. And let me tell you something, and it wasn't easy when the deliverance hurts. And that's why I think God gave me a deliverance ministry, because I know how it feels to be molested. I know how it feels to be raped. I know how it feels to be rejected and not accepted. I know how it feels not to be loved. I know how it feels to be verbally abused. My husband and I, and he's probably still on here, and I know when I said it, he's like, that ain't true. I said it, he's still on here. But when we were married, he verbally abused me. Why? Because when my mother, I felt like, okay, we are still married, huh? My bad. We about to celebrate 26 years of marriage on the 20th. But listen, on a serious note, my husband verbally abused me, and I used to think it was okay. I thought it was right because my mother did it, so I accepted it. And you have to understand, if you accept it before you either go into a relationship, they will think it's allowed. What you allow is what they expect you to accept. Yes. And that devil is a lie, because you don't have to accept abuse, no matter what shape, form, or fashion it is. But because I never knew God for myself, that's why I dealt with so much hatred and anger and bitterness. And that's what you stated earlier. And those are strongholds. Yes. Because we'll hold on to those things and it will continue to control our mind and everything else about us. So I don't mind, even right now, I'm going to say this. I went to her the other day. I said, my children are cursed. I said, something is wrong with them. They don't belong to me. And something that I've done in my past has got to have carried over into them, because those are not my kids. I don't know who kids they belong to, but I need God to take them back. Because they are just doing the absolute most. But I had to realize, yes, even though the Bible says when the disciples asked Jesus, is he cursed? I mean, does he have a demon? Is he demon possessed because his mother or his father sinned? And Jesus was like, no. You got to be able to understand that some people are not possessed, or some people are not oppressed, or some people are not in depression or going through these things because of the mother or father. Some things about what we've done or what we've allowed and we've not handled when hurt or abuse. Does that make sense? And we don't get that we need.
Right. Which goes into how do I get my deliverance? Because when you get deliverance is the severing of anything that holds you other than God. The severance of anything that holds you.
I have to say people too.
Anything means people, places, things.
Right. Thank you. Because I had to be delivered from some people.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what I did. And you said, how do you do that? You gotta pray like it's your last. You gotta pray like it's your last resort. And I had to seek God for deliverance. When me and my husband got back together after a major separation, I went to the altar and I prayed. When the beat of them drums hit, I was praising God and worshiping God because I needed to be free. I didn't want to be this evil person anymore. I didn't want to be a person that was just always depressed, always unhappy, and made everybody around me just unhappy.
Right. But you have to recognize that in yourself, because I could tell you all day long uh, something about you, but if you don't see that flaw in yourself, you're not going to do anything to try to change it. So we have to recognize where we need deliverance in, and it's the severing of that thing that holds us, that is not God. It doesn't just have to be fear, bitterness, anger, depression. It can also be a behavior. What behaviors are holding you that are not like God? A behavior we have taken on as self-defense mechanism. Women, we do that a lot.
That's with the devil.
As women, we take on self-defense mechanism characteristics, because we say, I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me.
Yep, we the devil.
You know, we go stop. We go into survival mode, and we say, you know, as soon as something happens that resembles something that looked like something from that somebody else did that hurt us,
here comes the devil.
We we go into self-defense mechanism mode. Overeating is a behavior. Habitual withdrawal from people is also behavior. And I know someone who says they cannot separate that you know, they either want to be all in or all out. So that's kind of like habitual withdrawal from people. Yeah. It's a behavior. And that God doesn't want us to be drawn away from people, because how are we going to draw them to Him if we don't want to connect with them? We can't just connect with the people that look like us, that act like us, that talk like us, that think like us, that, you know, that have the same mindset as us. We have to connect with those people that when we get through talking to them, we got to go in the bathroom and pray. Or we have to go out in the car and say, God help me. Or before we start, because there's something in us that they need. There's something in us that they need. So we have to recognize there's a bigger picture. It's not all about us. It's not all about what we want.
I'm taking it personal. It's look at where you are. And you know, when you said that to me, I remember sitting at the old building, and Lord said, turn around and look at the people. And when I turned around and looked at the people, I was like, okay. He said, what do you see? I said, people that I don't like. He said, turn back around. But I turned back around. He said, what do you see? I don't know, God. People. He said, do you see you in the people? He said, so that means you don't like you. And I was like, so we want it. So apparently, I don't like me. So I had to change it. I had to change my perspective concerning people. So I had to listen. If it was not, and I know I keep saying this, but I'm not putting you on a pedestal.
No, I don't feel like it. I'm not.
But when you know your flaws and you know your issues and your struggles, you need to be held. The Holy Ghost will keep you, but my Holy Ghost reminds me. Do you want to go to hell again? And I do say because I don't want to go again. So I go to hell, and I don't want to experience it either. So when I'm in that place, she'll and I'll explain what's going on, and she's able to pray with me. She's never judged me. Now, has she said mean things about my thinking? Yes. But so for my growth, if she didn't love me, if she didn't do that, then she doesn't love me. Because love will cause people to correct you and allow you to get conviction in your heart. So even when somebody came to me that was crying, it was all of a sudden I was like, I'll be right back. And I went and got her. Such and such is outside, you know, they crying. I don't know what to say, you know, hey. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna need you to pray for empathy because you're tripping. But my point in all of that is when she said it, how can you be in this place and not like people? You can't be either all in or all out. You can't be that way. You're not being partial by setting boundaries. You're not being partial by setting some standards. Right. But you're being able to let them know what you're not going to do and what you're not going to accept. That's deliverance. That's how you get delivered from those people that is causing you to stay in those bad places. And also, it speaks to the enemy that can continue to play with your mind, you'd rather fight them than pray for them.
Right. Right. And because he wants to keep division, because he understands the power of connections. So, if he can keep us divided with the people that we're supposed to be connected to, he's winning.
Yeah.
So we have to look at the big picture. And I posted this on my page, but I said being born again delivers us from death, but we also must be delivered from the dead places in our lives. What is dead in your life that you need to be delivered from? What is dead and it's dead, but you're still carrying it. You're still dragging it from place to place to place to place.
Yeah.
That is a burden that is heavy, and you need to let it go. It's time to let it go. It's time to move forward. What I want you to do as we begin to wrap this up is to study James 3. James chapter 3.
That's a good.
The whole chapter. Begin to study that as you begin to put yourself in a position to be delivered from whatever it is God begins to reveal to you. Because as we walk through this, like she was saying, when we talk about getting to the root of issues, this is a 7-step series to being whole. The reason why it's 7 steps and each step has multiple steps is because sometimes in order to be whole, you have to uncover your issues layer by layer. You can't just open up the whole box of worms and expect to be able to swallow everything that's coming at you. You have to have time to process. You have to have time to recognize what's happening. You have to have time to understand what you see, what God is saying, and how do I apply this to my life so I can get better. And that's why I don't have one of the reasons why I don't have the sessions every day, because you have a couple days in between to take what you've learned, take what you've written down, and then ask God. You don't have to ask your brother or your sister. Ask God. Okay, God, this is what I got out of that. What else am I missing? What else do I need? Take those 7 steps that I wrote down, the gateways that open us up to being demonically oppressed. Write them down and begin to ask yourself or ask God, are any of these in me? Have I opened up any of these doors where it could be me, where I am currently oppressed? So we can't get the answers we're needing if we're not talking to God. We can't depend on our preacher all the time. We can't depend on the ministers. We can't depend on your mama, your daddy, whoever is, that is the prayer warrior. We have to create that relationship with Christ ourselves. He will tell you.
Right.
He will talk to you. He will lead you. He will direct you. He will not leave us hanging. Right. And so I just wanted to encourage you in that area. And
I know why they can hear me. You're closer to the mic, and I wasn't. So I just needed to be louder. But I was trying to it's fine. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't. But I wanted to just, let you know why they couldn't hear. And I thought it might have been that. So I guess when I do conversate, I just need to just move forward and see if they can hear me. But Shakita, if you're still on here, if I've moved up closer so you can hear, then let me know, and then we'll know next time if we ever do this again together. Then I don't know what to do. Yeah, there could go the mic. Oh, y'all can hear me. If Victoria said the same thing, I can't hear. So I'm not sure what it is, but I think you can hear it now because I just saw this, but I'm not sure. But we have our mic open, but I'm not sure why y'all can't hear me. But I keep talking this way to see if Shakita is going to.
I think you're moving your hands too much.
Okay, that's what it is. I talk with my hands. So I'm sorry. Sorry.
Can't help it.
I really can't.
So, but I think we're going to wrap this up now. And so this is not the completeness of part 3, but it is a long section because we're talking with deliverance. So I want you to take what we've talked about today, study it, come back Saturday. What's today?
Today is Saturday.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. It was a beautiful day outside. I mean, what can I say? I woke up happy.
Yeah.
Why are you so happy? Because God is good. because God is good. Take these, apply it, come back for the second part of the deliverance. And what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday is 7 steps to deliverance. Now we are in the book for 7 steps to being whole, but right now we're in deliverance, so we're going to be talking about 7 steps to deliverance. Those things that we need to do to get completely there. So I won't go into those things, but if anyone has a question before we leave, feel free to comment. If not, we thank God for you. I'll play us out with some music.
Do y'all have questions, Mike? I'm not sure if you're still listening, but do you have questions, or Mike, do you feel like we answered some of the questions that you might have had, but we've already answered them, and that you're good? Because I really don't want to, and I know she hates this part. I really don't want to log off unless I know for sure that we've said something that you are good. Because we're praying for you, but I want to make sure if you're still listening. I'll wait about a minute. But if you're still on here and we have answered your questions or spoken to things that you are dealing with, then praise God. And I will give you about a minute to respond. And of course, I'll keep talking about this. You said we, so that means am I coming on with you next week?
I'm praying
about
about it.
deliverance with
Yeah,
praying.
yeah.
Because I mean, that means I
Yeah,
got
we
to
can.
put my makeup on every day.
No, yeah, we can finish it out, or we'll finish it out together Wednesday.
Okay, Tanya said, yeah, really can't hear you. I don't know, Tanya. I really don't know why you can't hear me. Because my laptop should be just for one speaker.
Well, maybe
I
they're
don't
only
know.
supposed to hear my voice.
Right, maybe. I don't know, right? I missed last week, man. That can't hear me. Really, God? It's the devil. See, we were talking about the devil. The devil.
I want to just say this real quick. In James chapter 3, she said, this is in Stormy's book. She said, the sins of relationship. In chapter 3, James focuses on sins of relationship, which result, he says, from evil wisdom. The first sin mentioned is a sin of the tongue, a little member that boasts great things. And in chapter 4, James cautions, do not speak evil of one another, brethren. Have you committed sins of the tongue, gossiping, lying, cursing? If so, list those sins and confess them to God.
Not cursing. Really not. Oh, like a good thing. So does that mean you're gonna have me on Wednesday?
Oh my God! Why? Why would you do that? Why would you tell her that? Don't you see she has a problem?
Now y'all. We used to do this a long time ago at the church, and so this is good. But now, just for deliverance, she's gonna continue to teach y'all about Lord, I want to be whole, and she started this lesson over at Mount Moriah like almost 15 years ago.
Yeah, 2007, I think it was.
Well, see, almost, it's 18 years. Yeah. And so it was a great lesson. I was actually in that class. But deliverance, if I'm just through here for deliverance, is good because I can tell y'all, listen, deliverance is real. And it does hurt. Deliverance hurts. It hurts because you got to get deep down to those. You hear me now? Deliverance gets down to the root, and you got to face some past issues. You got to face past struggles, and you got to be able to be open and honest about what it is. If you've been molested, you got to talk about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you've been raped, you have to talk about it. If you've been verbally abused, you have to talk about it. If it's unforgiveness, you have to talk about it. And it doesn't matter how long it's been. When she told me, how do you think it feels when somebody tells you that you think that you're forgiven and they tell you and say you still got unforgiveness in your heart, you still got that thing on you, and you just be looking like, no, yes I have. And then they were like, no, you haven't. So going to God and taking it to the Lord and then doing that, and then God saying, yeah, you still got some underlying issues, and then you're able to go to that person and say, okay, listen, this is what's happening. This is what took place. We need to talk about it so that we can move from it, because I don't want to hold any malice or any iniquity or transgression in my heart. Listen, I need God to hear every prayer that I need. And my salvation is for real.
Amen.
I don't want to experience and having an encounter with the Lord to where He about to take me out because of my disobedience. So whatever your issue is, whether it's addiction, somebody that might have got you addicted, somebody might have got you on drugs, whatever it is, you got to get to those underlying issues to have a healthy relationship and be healthy within yourself.
Amen.
All right, so Mike's not on here. He might have logged off. Hey, Pastor Davis, good to see you. God bless you. I love Pastor Davis. He just learned how to, I'm about to put him on blast, Lord Jesus. I'm there now, Pastor Davis, forgive me. But he just learned how to do Facebook Live.
It's all right. We all got to come out at different
Right.
times in our life.
You know,
It's
when the
okay.
church is shut down, he was like, I got to go Facebook Live. So I was able to lead him into doing the Facebook Live. But he's one of my good followers on Facebook. So
That's
God
awesome.
bless you, sir.
Well, I thank God for each and every one of you that continue to come on and try to get this healing that you need. Maybe, you could have started out just coming on because you're part of my Wednesday morning prayer, or maybe you've seen it and you clicked on it and thought, well, let me just see what it's all about. But I pray that you're getting something from it. Again, I have a passion for people wanting to come into being healed, because that's what my ministry is: heal people, help people. Because after you have been healed, you can reach back and pull somebody over with you. It's each one reach one, because when we are healed, we're able to help somebody else be healed as well. So I can't touch everybody, but we're supposed to all have we all have a purpose. God has a plan for us to reach someone, but as someone reached me, then I was able to reach out to someone else. That person was able to reach out to someone, and we continue to spread the gospel and the love. So I thank you for coming in. I thank you for joining us. Again, it's every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. And then every Wednesday at 6:45 a.m., I am praying. We're coming together. We're praying and we're seeing what God is saying. We're praying together because I need you as much as you need me. Even if you don't need me, I need you, because the prayers of the righteous availeth much. If we stand together, we pray together.
It doesn't matter if you don't need me, because I need you.
See, this is why I can't deal with her.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. But I thank you all. Again, share it. If you know somebody struggling in this area, please share it with them. Send it to their inbox if they don't want it on their page, because some of us are private. We don't want nobody to know we got issues. We'll tell someone, but give them the tools that are necessary. My page is not private, it's public. So even if you're not my friend, you can go on there, you can look for the past videos, and they can get whatever they need to get to the place of being healed.
That's such a wonderful thing that your page is public. Mine's private. I'm not
scared of nobody.
Well, I'm not delivering for the people.
She's not delivering.
I want to be home.
Well, I hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday evening, and prepare your happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are on the line.
Mother's Day.
And any mother that sees it later, happy Mother's Day. Hope you are blessed. And anyone that has lost a mother and maybe struggling with celebrating this weekend, because we know you're going to hear it over and over and over again. We are praying for you, and we're standing in the gap for you, believing that God is going to give you the strength that you need to be able to make it through this season, because you had a season for your mother and God was ready to call her home. And so we have to, like I said, we grieve, but we can't stay there. And then we have to move forward. So God bless you all and have a great
Thank
evening.
you, Tanya. See ya.
And I'm going to put down here before I leave, what is my I don't know my
Look, Benicia, you do that every time. You always come on, we're about to leave. Go back and watch the replay. I know Benicia's like, I cannot stand her.
I put in the comments my website, because if you don't know, I do have a book out now. It is, do you have your book?
Yes.
It's 21-day devotional value creator. And what that is 21 days of you speaking life back into yourself. 21 days to change your atmosphere where you stand. 21 days of a word. Value creator. It's available on my website as well as Amazon. It looks like it's got a, I don't know if you can see.
There you go.
But the back says there's a saying, it takes 21 days to create a new habit. If you consistently and intentionally do something for 21 days, it will become part of your normal routine. This book was written with the intentions of helping you create a new normal in your life. It is so easy to get stuck and focus only on the negative things happening, but regardless of what you see, you must make a conscious and intentional effort to remind yourself of who you are and the power that you possess as a child of God. Once you recognize who you are, it's easy to tap back into the power you possess. At the end of this 21-day journey, I know you will be able to confidently say in the mirror, I am valuable, I am necessary, I am needed. So I pray to God it's only $10.99. You can get it again on my website or on Amazon. I pray that it'll bless you. I know that it'll bless you, and I pray that you'll get it. God bless you.
Bless you. Now let me ask